When most people attend business meetings, they worry about the things that will be discussed. But you have another thing to worry about. You worry about understanding every single word that the others say. And the even bigger fear that when you speak, no one will understand you. So you sit there quietly. Even when you have brilliant ideas, you try not to be noticed. Well, that changes today, because in this lesson, I'm going to give you the essential British English phrases you need to speak with total confidence in any business meeting. Here's how we're going to do it. You're going to join an online team meeting with me. I'll then pause the meeting at key moments to break down the exact phrases we're using, why we're using them, and how you can make them your own. Right, let's get this meeting started. Hi, I'm Steve. Let's do this. Hi David, how's it going?
Yes, not too bad, thanks, Steve. You?
All good here, thanks. A bit grey outside, but what can you do? And there's Ray. Hi Ray. Hi all. So David, I was just going to ask, how are things in London at the moment?
Busy as always. The tube strike is causing a bit of chaos. But we're managing.
I bet. And Ray, is the sun making an appearance up in your neck of the woods today? For about 5 minutes, yes. So the first few minutes before a meeting officially starts are crucial. This is when we make small talk. It's just light, friendly conversation to build up a good atmosphere. This meeting started with one of the most common and natural greetings. Hi David, how's it going? In most workplaces, formal language has been replaced with a friendlier, more casual way of speaking. So even in a business meeting, you can forget about saying good morning or good afternoon. Just use a simple hi like I did. Then I asked, so David, I was just going to ask, how are things in London at the moment? How are things in London? This is a great conversation starter. You can ask about someone's city, their weekend, or even the classic British topic, the weather. You also heard me use the idiom in your neck of the woods, which just means in your area or where you are. You heard me do this with both David and Ray to make sure everyone felt included. It's all about being friendly and relaxed before you get down to business. So have a few of these friendly questions ready, just in case you need them. Kerry's here. Hi Kerry. Right, I think that's everybody, so let's make a start. Hello everybody, and thanks for attending. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss our plans for making more outdoor videos. Before we start, can we just quickly go around and introduce ourselves? Name, job role, and where you're based is fine. I think you all know me, but if not, I'm Steve, Managing Director based out of Liverpool.
David, technical lead, and I'm in London.
Ray, Marketing Executive, currently working out of Leeds.
I'm Kerry, Creative Lead and General Dogs Body, also based in Liverpool.
Great, let's get the ball rolling. The first item on our agenda is the potential for creating more videos out of the studio in various locations. Once everyone has arrived, you need a clear phrase to move from the small talk to the business part of the meeting. I said, right, I think that's everybody, so let's make a start. Right, I think that's everybody, so let's make a start. This signals that the social chat is over and it's time to focus. I also used everybody and not everyone. They both mean the same thing, but everybody can sound a little friendlier in this context. Then I welcomed everyone and clearly stated the meeting's objective. Hello everybody, and thanks for attending. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss our plans for making more outdoor videos. This is so important. It shows you're in control and makes sure everyone knows why they're there. Next, I asked everyone to introduce themselves and gave clear instructions on what to include. Before we start, can we just quickly go around and introduce ourselves? Name, job role, and where you're based is fine. A key point here is about names. In Britain, you'll almost always be addressed by your first name. So even though my full name is Stephen, I introduce myself as Steve because that's what I prefer to be called. Hi, I'm Steve. When we're talking about our job titles, you heard Kerry call herself
I'm Kerry, creative lead and general dog's body.
a general dog's body. And this is a wonderful, fun British idiom. It means that as well as her main role, she's the person who ends up doing all the small, random jobs that no one else wants to do. It's a great example of the kind of informal language you'll hear in a modern British workplace. So before you go into your next meeting, practice saying out loud not only your full name, but also what you'd like to be called, your job title, and add where you work to the phrase, I'm based in. And remember, this might be a city, or it could be as simple as, I'm based in the accounts department. Finally, I use the phrase, let's get the ball rolling. This is a very common natural idiom in British English. It simply means, let's begin. Another one you might hear at a meeting is, let's kick things off. The first item on our agenda is the potential for creating more videos out of the studio in various locations. What are your thoughts, Kerry?
It's a good idea in principle, but I'm not sure I fully understand it. Are you saying we need to hire a whole new crew? Because if we do, the budget will be a major issue.
Sorry to interrupt, Steve, but your screen has frozen. We seem to have a bad connection. Could you repeat that last bit?
Can you hear me now? Is that any better?
Yes, that's much better. Loud and clear.
No problem. Kerry, just to clarify, I'm not suggesting a new crew. The idea is to use our existing team. We may need to invest in some new sound equipment. That's the main point. Steve, if I could just jump in. I think Kerry has a good point about the budget. Even just new sound gear could be a problem. I appreciate that, Ray. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. For now, we're just discussing the idea of locations. We can stick a pin in the budget conversation for another time.
And what about the time it would take to travel to these locations? That eats into filming days. And we'd also need to think about...
If I can just stop you there, Kerry, that's a very good point. But it's for another day. Let's try to keep on track for now. So David, back to the equipment. Okay, a lot happened there. That's a great example of how a real meeting flows. It can get a bit messy. Let's break down the language and the strategies. First, the technical problems. David said,
Sorry to interrupt, Steve, but your screen has frozen.
Both very useful phrases. Or if you see someone's lips moving but you can't hear them, you could say, I think you're on mute, which just means their microphone isn't switched on. Another great expression to use if the sound is poor, that sounds great, what time will you be home? Is, sorry, you're breaking up a bit. Next, did you notice what I did when David interrupted? I just paused. I didn't rush, I took a second. This is one of the most powerful habits you can learn as an English language learner, because you will naturally try to answer quickly, especially when things go wrong or you get interrupted. A simple pause makes you look confident and in control, not stressed. Plus, it gives you a moment to think about what you're going to say next. Because she wasn't 100% certain of what I said, Kerry used a perfect phrase.
But I'm not sure I fully understand it.
It's a polite way to check information. And to answer her, I used Kerry, just to clarify. Just to clarify. I could also have said, let me put it another way. Again, did you notice I deliberately slowed down my speech when I replied? The idea is to use our existing team. Speaking fast, especially if you have a strong accent, can make it difficult for native speakers to understand you. So when you have an important point to make, slow down. It acts like a verbal highlighter and tells everyone this bit's important. I finished with a short, clear statement. That's the main point. No rambling or other nonsense. That's the main point. Finally, keeping the meeting focused, you heard Kerry and Ray start to talk about budget and time travel.
And what about the time it would take to travel to these locations?
Both are important, but they weren't the topic we were discussing. I used the phrases, if I can just stop you there, and let's try to keep on track. These are vital for politely controlling the conversation and making sure a meeting is efficient. You also heard me use the idiom, we can stick a pin in the budget conversation for another time, which is a great natural phrase used all the time in British offices, meaning we won't forget about it, but we will deal with it later. Another useful phrase to remember is, can we stick to the agenda? And the agenda is just a list of things you're going to talk about. It's a polite way to get everyone back on the main topic. Well, I feel that's been very productive. Just to summarise the key points, David will investigate the cost of obtaining suitable microphones. Kerry will create a shortlist of 3 potential local locations. And we've agreed the deadline for this is next Friday. Before we finish, is there anything else? Just a quick one, Steve. The deadline is the end of the day next Friday, right? Yes, exactly. End of play Friday. Good. So let's pencil in another meeting for next Tuesday at the same time to review how you've got on. I'll send an invite. Thanks for attending, everyone. Speak soon.
Bye.
And that's how you close or wrap up a meeting. Now, this final part of the meeting is arguably the most important, and this is where you can really show your confidence. A good meeting always ends with a clear summary. Just to summarise the key points, the phrase just to summarise is perfect for this. This is your chance to use those clear statements we talked about by stating the main outcomes and the action points. That is, the tasks each person must now do. You make sure everyone leaves the meeting knowing exactly what has been decided and what they are responsible for. This avoids confusion later. You heard me use the phrasal verb to pencil in a meeting. This is a very natural phrase, which means to arrange something for now, knowing the time might need to change later. You pencil it in. You also heard, yes, exactly, end of play Friday. End of play Friday. This is a very common alternative to at the end of the day. It just means by the close of business. There's a full guide about this lesson that's already been sent to your inbox, but if I haven't got your email yet, simply click the link in the description below. Now, I talked about that feeling of pressure in a meeting and how it can make you start speaking very quickly. Well, when native speakers talk fast, they join their words together in a very specific way. It's an important part of sounding natural. So if you want to understand fast British English, as well as starting to use it yourself, and this video right here, it breaks it all down for you. Give it a click and I'll see you there.